Good evening, Mrs. McGuire, the Richton Square.
Good evening, Dr. Davis and board colleagues and family on Zoom or YouTube, wherever you are right now. We are Richton Square, and we are continually on an improvement plan. Where it all begins. We at Richton Square, we grow the whole child. So we seek to meet their individual social, emotional, and education needs, and we build the foundation that will continue throughout their lives. I am going to go ahead and go to we use multiple resources which I can address when we get to the questions, so we can go ahead and move through, because I would like Dr. Davis to keep her word that this is an hour. Oh, I want to start before we move to the four goals that attendance matters. And so this is something that we are keeping as a number one priority throughout the district and in our building, that every student every day to accomplish what we want to do, and with the families and with our children, we need the students there. And we want to note that attendance matters, that daily attendance provides access to information and experiences, especially for our young learners, resources and relationships, and positive impact students' sense of belonging. This attendance fosters social interactions and connectedness, and attendance remains the leading indicator for student success. So I think that's foundational for us, because we're building the relationship, we're building their attitude about learning, and so the more they're there. So I want to start by saying we need our students there. So what our students are going to learn. That includes identifying our priority academic standards. We review early learning and developmental standards and identify essential skills. We focus on foundational skills. That for us, we assess continually shapes, colors, numbers, upper and lowercase numbers, all these precursors to reading, all the counting and patterning, the precursors to basic math skills. We assess and we build. We also look at what they're expected to know in kindergarten. So we definitely layer a lot of kindergarten math assessments in to help that we're preparing them not just for tomorrow, but for the next year that they're coming. That's what they're going to learn. How do we know when they've reached their targets? We continually use formative assessments. We use summative assessments 2-3 times a year, but we are continually formulating, readdressing our structures and seeing what they know. We document, we use a program, Teaching Strategies Gold, which is an ongoing authentic assessment. So we don't just test on one day, we test and collect data through a period of time, and work to assess and watch their development, watch their individual progress, their group projects, and adapt our own instruction and experience opportunities to what they're learning. We know they've learned it through those summative, but we also know before we get to the summative where they're at. So that, like I said, it's a continual circle. Assess, re-instruct, readjust, assess. Very similar to what we do in older grades. What will we do when students have challenges? Well, we have a unique opportunity in that we address challenges continually. We don't wait till don't have to wait till we get to a test, because we are continually assessing. We have daily center times. In most classes, we have multiple center times, which is some small group instruction. We also have a choice time where they are applying what they learned in instruction on their own, which gives us time to extend when we get to extension, to ask questions and to address those things. We want to foster timely interventions. We use our ESGI, which is our intervention assessment process. We use RTI. We use our PBIS, because how they feel about learning definitely affects all our learners, but especially in our primary grades. So we try to build that whole child and set them up for success, not just for us, for the next years to come. Though we don't have a gifted preschool classroom, I believe that potentially I have a building full of gifted students. And so we extend learning in every area possible. We provide opportunities for students to apply and utilize skills. We build interest and experiences. We connect concepts and extend knowledge. We give them problem-solving tasks, and we continually use questioning and utilize thinking questions. When they get to the older grades, we call them, higher learning, but we call them thinking questions at the Square, and we ask questions. We don't challenge what they're saying, we just ask them to explain much what we do when they're older, but we are so excited some of the answers that we get. We learn from our students every day as much as they learn from us, which makes going to work just a pure joy. But questions like, what would you suggest? What would happen if? How would you explain? What other way would you choose? Sometimes you don't think they understand until you ask them to explain what it is. And so we try really hard not to interpret for them, but have them communicate to us. And that builds their social skills and their thinking skills as well. So again, my building is full of potential gifted classrooms. So we continually work that through. Primary focus, just a summation, is to provide our nurturing environment to address the physical, social, and emotional needs of our students. We want to address the academic needs, which is what we just covered, of our students, with an emphasis on building a foundational skills in mathematics, reading, and language arts. So all of the things that we are teaching and learning and supporting with our students are all precursors of things that they need stabilized to be successful in their next steps. Because it all begins at the Square.
Thank you, Mrs. McGuire.